All right, we're live, so we can do a quick recap here of what all went down last time. And grab the wrong notebook, but that's okay. And then we'll kind of dive into this. So you guys are headed across the plains there towards this Bone Column Tower. The plains themselves were quite a hefty trek. You guys knew that there was some barbarian tribes out there, some orcish tribes. The nomadic halflings that you love so much kind of traveled these plains as well. You came to an area where you saw some smoke in the distance and stuff. Decided to check on that. And it was sort of like a bowl or a hovel in the ground. That was all camped out with the little halfling tents, and they have their pots and pans and cookwares and everything out, and campsites and stuff like that. But the town itself looked like it was decimated. There was halflings, dead halflings, about dead orcs. You saw one orc that was tied to a flag staff type thing. And in the center of town was a smaller girl who was like hovering over top of the body of who she said was her father. One of you guys, I think Morrow, you headed down first, and then John as well. Talking to this girl, she told you that some orcs came through. They thought they were attacking the town, and her father was fighting back against them along with some others. But they were actually, these orcs were from the White Palm, or that's what they called it, the White Hands. And they were actually there to try and help the halflings against the incoming orc scourge that was coming through, which eventually did come through and ended up in the end just pretty much wiping everybody out. This younger girl, she said she lost her name when Morrow asked her what her name was. She kind of mentioned that a few times. He decided to help her find it again. You guys talked to the orc, like I said, from the White Hand or whatever. He did not like Morrow, as far as Morrow looked like a orc chief at the time, and he seemed pretty intent in destroying him for that. Morrow went down into like this little cave area, this basement, I guess you'd want to call it, of this village. With this young girl, some other halfling zombies down there started to attack. You guys ran in there to help out. Junk was the orc's name. Junk helped you guys out a little bit until Morrow decided just to kill him as well, because Morrow's a dick. In between all of that, you had this huge three-headed, it was called a warg, coming down the stairwell. It was supposedly like a protector of these halflings or a watcher of some sort. And that too seemed to be pretty corrupted, and its skin was bubbled up and pus-filled blisters and not looking quite like itself. Eventually, he took that out as well. I think you all died about 7 times, but somehow made it through without actually fully dying. Between Morrow's healing and John's healing and plain sheer luck, you guys rested down here in this area for the night. Come up the next morning, Morrow, you turned into that younger girl, that primal girl thing that attacked you. Because you've seen all these halflings out in the village there, wandering around. You headed out. They all seemed to be attracted to your hot self and started following along behind you. And you just avalanched them in one shot and killed them all. In the distance, though, you did see the large standing stone, had different glyphs around it and stuff, a place for you to place your hands. The others came out to see what you were up to as you were, had your hands placed onto this altar, or the stone, whatever it was. And you began talking to somebody. To you, it looked like one of your old mentors or a friend, somebody who you adopted father or something like that. Somebody you knew that was a nice person, though. And they offered to, if you wanted to join this group that's following Narcool, the Ghoul, or the dead Ghoul, they are against a woman called the White Witch. And he was saying that the White Witch is behind all of this, these halfling deformities, this red star that's glaring in the sky, and basically the whole world going to shit. You figured, hey, why not? This guy was going to offer you a hand, which indeed he did. He took your hand, gave you this awesome new 4-finger desiccated hand that was badass, gave you a true persona of yourself, that one thing you could never have, and yet finally got this handsome fellow that you were. And you were like, hey, guys, look what I got. They chopped off your hand. Well, actually, they blinded you and then chopped off your hand. And that is where we ended it. So as the scene kind of comes up, it's still early morning. The clouds were pretty thick in the sky, and this constant drizzle. These past few days have been swelteringly hot. Today seems to be no better, but the humidity just keeps climbing and climbing. So even just the rags that you might have on, you just sweat underneath this red glaring sun overhead. You guys look at poor Morrow, his cool hand that he had now laying on the ground. Half of his face is part what it used to be and part changeling twigs and branches. Morrow, we'll start with you. What do you do?
I'm just in complete shock. I just sort of fall to my knees, just staring at the new stump for the second or third time or whatever. That's just appeared on the end of my wrist, and I just look up at them, incredulous and scared, just confused. I'm not saying anything though.
Rickham, John, you guys see him staring back, perhaps a bit confused.
We had to do it, Morrow. We had to do it.
John just kind of looks at him like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?"
He just stares at you for another moment.
Whoever you thought that was, it wasn't that person.
John's just like, "I've seen some bad shit in my day." And I've seen some bad shit in my day, and usually when stuff like this happens, it's just not a good thing. So we did what we had to do.
Or what happened to the hand once we severed
It's
it?
just lying on the ground. This little mummified, desiccated, four-fingered.
All right, I will pick it up and wrap it up again, and but then I unwrap it and I say, "This was what was on you." Trying to give him some tough love.
Does it look like a creepy hand to me now?
Yes, it does.
I'll sort of furrow my brow and say, "No, it wasn't. It was just a normal hand."
It was. This was what was there. We cut it off. It's most likely it either was the hand that was in my pack, or it's one's like the one that was in my whatever. It was not what you thought it was.
You guys will notice this drizzly sort of rain that's coming down. Reckham, as you mentioned this to Morrow, you see what looks to be a snowflake kind of just drift down, landing on the shoulder. A nice large size snowflake, blood red in color. And another one kind of drifts down, and another. These things don't melt in the sweltering heat, though. They just kind of hang there. So you look around, it seems to be, it's not snowing like heavy, but it's definitely coming down decently in between this drizzle, this blood red snowflakes that just kind of land on the ground and sit there, starting to build up a little.
Like, this is not a normal thing, right?
Mm-mm.
Like, all right, so John's gonna lose his shit a little bit, be like, what the hell? Just gonna kind of look around, I guess.
In the far north, which is where you're headed, well, sort of like a northeast or northwest, but you can see this, the cloud cover has that very eerie reddish sort of glow to it from this overhanging star. Looks to be a bit of a storm brewing. You can feel a little bit of a wind buffeting against your clothes. More and more of this red, snowy stuff drifting around to the ground around you.
Do we notice any kind of like ill effect from it or anything?
Not yet. If you kind of go over and inspect it, though, it's not cold to the touch. It just kind of crumbles like ash in your hand and then just drifts down to the ground. It doesn't melt. It seems more like ash than actual snow, but it's blood red in color.
Maybe we should get moving.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get moving.
That's probably a good idea.
And try, if possible, try to cover up even better. Because after seeing what the red star did to those poor, innocent, worthless, intolerable halflings, yeah, I'm gonna pull my cloak a little bit tighter.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
There's lots of halflings around as well that had some bits of clothes, so you could probably gather what you could and cover yourself up pretty well. As far as this town that you're in itself, there's no actual real physical structure besides that standing stone in the center. Everything else is just little tents and lean-tos, shit like that. Since they're nomadic halflings, they move from place to place. Nothing here seems to be permanent. Um, can I get perception checks from all of you? If you have something that can give you a boon with a profession, go for it.
I'm just going to assume that my priesty prayer thingy got.
Mm-hmm.
Detective. Astrology.
Yeah, detective would work, yeah.
Fucking 11.
That was a nat 20 on the die, bitches. So,
Beautiful.
20.
Oh well, I gotta figure out. I got a boon too. I'm sure. Oh yeah. So I got a 19, 15 plus 4.
All right. So, John, Reckham, you notice Morrow doesn't seem to be too much. He's just kind of staring at his stump still at the moment. You guys notice this huge cloud in the distance where you're headed. The wind's picking up a little bit. You can feel some rain splatters hit against your armor, against your clothes a little bit, leaving these thick, goopy red stains where they land. This snowy ash stuff just continues to drift down around you. As you're moving out of this little hovel area and you move up the embankment, you can see this large area where the orcs all passed through. You can see bits and pieces of what's left of some halflings that they were dragging behind. You see a few manacles lying on the grass and stuff. And then you see what looks to be a large mound of cloth kind of huddled over in the corner. Every now and then it kind of shakes a little bit like something's inside.
If it's a halfling, you kill it.
Yeah, John, take
arbitrarily. Well,
yeah, John will take his staff and put the.
Kind of jab it with your staff. It doesn't feel fleshy. It just feels like you're hitting something hard. Kind of tinky sound, almost like it's metal. You hear a little bit of like this grinding sound.
So yeah, then John will continue to kind of move whatever's there.
Move a couple little pieces of clothing. There's a little backpack that's sitting there partly open. You can see some vials and stuff inside of it. Shift that to the side a little bit. As you move that last little, it looks to be like this heavy wool blanket out of the side. You see what looks to be a small spider. It's about the size of a small dog. 7 legs kind of come off this thing. One of the legs, the 8th leg, seems to be broken and bent, kind of crooked. Right in the top half, it's like basically like a miniature drider. It has like a halfling looking top half. And these all these mechanical things, this little clockwork object just stares at you, blinking for a few moments. Kind of looks down at these little hands that it has and looks around with this confused as a clockwork can look face.
So it's a clockwork halfling.
So it's a quarter length.
Spider, yeah.
How do we feel about a half?
It'll turn its head towards you, and in place where its mouth is, it does have like a opening there, but you just see a row of lights, and they kind of light up in this weird little pattern, and it blinks these little mechanical eyes at you.
I'll just kind of keep my staff ready. Like if it moves in any kind of a threatening manner, I'm just gonna smash the shit out of it.
It stays where it is at the moment, but it's just looking at you. As curiously as a clockwork looks, it just kind of blinks its eyes, and you see these lights kind of flicker in its mouth area.
I'll pick it up with one hand, if that's possible.
You'd have to use 2. It's a little heavy, but not too bad.
Right.
But yeah,
Well, I only have one hand at the moment.
Oh, with this hand and the stump.
Stump in it. Yeah.
Yeah, you pick it up. You can see that its hands kind of flail a little bit. Its legs twitch a little, but then it lets you pick it up. It just kind of stares back at you, blinking. And you can see this grinding, whirring sound in the back of where its head area is, and what constitutes this mouth area kind of raises up in a little bit of a smile. Just slightly.
I'll ask it, do you speak?
You'll see those lights again in the mouth area light up a little bit, and then it just kind of puts its hands up and shakes its head.
Morse code.
And then it kind of goes like this towards its mouth area.
Oh.
The dog will be like, maybe it's hungry. I don't know.
It was like it was a key in its mouth. Like it was.
It's shaking its head like crazy. Just kind of looks around.
So you don't know where the key is? I'll search the bag, or I'll say for someone to search the bag.
Who wants to search the bag?
Redkin will search the bag.
They kind of flip it open. Looks like it's just a bunch of little vials, liquids, and stuff inside there. Give me a 1d6 roll and a 1d3 roll.
1d6 was 2. 1d3 was 1.
All right. So there's a total of 6 vials in there. Kind of sift through all of them. Strangely, have been labeled what looks like some sort of charcoaly wax or something that's kind of been glued to this paper that's on the front. You see 2 healing ones, one that just says other, and one that 2 that say acid. Besides that, there's some loose pieces of paper in there. There's a couple little mechanical pieces and stuff, but there's no actual key. You can see like an extra part of a limb, maybe some gears, some wiring.
Okay,
whoever's bag this was, maybe have the key. I'll say to the little fella.
And it'll just kind of shrug a little bit and kind of tap itself on the chest and tap you on the chest, Morrow.
Can I? Yeah, I'll dig in my pack and I'll look for like a writing utensil of some kind and kind of motion towards it to see if it'll write a message or something.
Yeah, it'll take it, kind of looks at him, looks at you as if, waiting for you to ask it something or what you want it to do with this.
Can you write?
No, kind of scribbles on this piece of paper and turns it around. It says yes.
Awesome. So we have a basic means of communication. Yeah, then I'll go ahead and ask, where is this key at?
You'll scribble it down, and you will see that it says, and it kind of turns around, I am Siren. Ciryn.
Right. Well, that's not what we asked you. So if you're going to be unhelpful and just tell us your name when we don't ask.
All right. What did you ask it, John?
Where the key is located.
Scribbles kind of turns around, and you can just see it says, I'm not sure. It was in bag. Perhaps a former master.
Well, where's your former master?
Kind of ribbles and turns it back around and says, he took the halflings.
The damn halflings. Let's see here.
Scribbles a little more, puts this paper like right in front of your face, Morrow, so you kind of have to push it back a little bit. It's almost like touching your nose. And it says, unsure, they move from place to place. I simply follow. It points down at the tracks on the ground, though, and then out into the distance.
Oh, okay. Well,
so we can track them,
I guess. Yeah.
Scribbles a little more and kind of points at it. It says, I am yours now.
All right. Sounds good.
Quarterling spider thing.
Sit him on my shoulder and say, wait, you're not actually a halfling or anything like that, are you? You don't have anything halfling about you, do you? Just to be sure.
See, it looks at this piece of paper that's pretty much full of scribbles and words now, and tucks it into like this little leather vest type thing it has on it, along with its pencil. And it just gives you this big mechanical smile, Morrow.
Right. All right. Well.
Kind of crawls around the back. It's 2 little legs kind of hanging over the top. You guys can see a little halfling mechanical thing sitting on the back of his Morrow's shoulders and backpack, peering over top. Its hands kind of rest pleasantly on the top of Morrow's head.
This is probably fine, right? Like, nothing bad's gonna happen with this guy, I'm sure.
No, not at all.
No.
Well, yeah, I guess for now, let's see if we can find these fucking halflings, because.
Well, do we have? You said there was a leg it looked like what was a leg in the bag, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, let's ask our what was his name again? I've forgotten already. Siren. Let's ask Siren, do we need to fix that or replace that bum leg and indicate,
Kind of looks over. You can hear
Or
it
is it-
try and
or
move
is he-
it. Kind of grinds, whirs a little bit.
okay.
Kind of shrugs.
Well, what do you guys think? Should we address that here or should we try to go? I'm just thinking I don't want to break down out there.
Well, if you know anything about engineering, then yeah, let's do it now. But
All right.
like I suspect, none of us have any knowledge of anything to do with that.
No, that was kind of my point.
Just find his boss and make him fix him.
I'm to fix him if you break him some more. But
Right.
All right.
Well, all right. If he can move, let's move.
Well, yeah, he's just
Yeah,
hanging
totally.
out on Merrow's head, so or back,
Yeah,
shoulders.
he's just chilling.
All right, you guys head on out. I need strength saving throws. 1 Bane from all of you.
Uh-oh.
Fuck it. 4.
Oh,
that is a 10 even.
that's a big old 2.
All right. So those of you who failed, you're going to take 1d6 damage. I'll let you actually roll, but it's just going to go onto your temporary. You're just going to lower your temporary down.
Cool.
So it's not damage to you yet, or don't take it as damage. Just move your temporary down that amount.
Now that's when your damage roll is higher than your saving throw. 5. Nice. These dice hate me.
So you feel as you guys head out, traveling through part of the morning, this wind begins to pick up. More and more of this drizzly rain kind of comes down, but it's almost like the slick, slimy red substance. Not necessarily like blood, but it's more slimy, like mucus of some sort or something. It just kind of hangs off of you, kind of slimes down your armor and drips to the ground. More of this snowy ash continues to drift. The wind itself, though, just picks up more and more. By mid-afternoon or mid-morning, you're just getting buffeted with these huge, powerful blasts of wind. This tiny little figure that's on your back, Morrow, is pretty much dug in its little legs into your shoulders, into your backpack. It has one hand kind of wrapped around your forehead as it tries to hang on the best it can in these buffeting winds.
Maybe
In the distance, you can see what's left of this forest that you're heading towards, but it's quite a ways out yet. Figure probably a good couple hours of travel, just a speck in the distance. You can see a couple rocky outcroppings that are within range. There's a few little wooded areas that are starting to crop up, but if you wanted to head for the forest, you can, but it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I think maybe finding somewhere to camp might be the best course.
Yeah. The aim for the best shelter we can see nearby.
Well, if we go to like the rock outcropping, I'll cast shape earth and stone on it to sort of make it into more of a like windbreak for us, so that it's like kind of rounded and sheltering us a bit better from the strong winds.
Up ahead, you can see this huge flash of lightning kind of arc across the sky and then down to the ground, a deep red sort of color to it. As the thunder rolls across, kind of deafens you for a few moments. As it goes silent, you hear what sounds to be almost like a warning horn, just blare, just this across the plains. Can't quite tell where it came from. And it just kind of slowly fades out. And then you hear a second blaring horn, and then a third before it's finally gone.
Like it seems like it's like a ways off, or
It's hard to tell, between the way it sounds and everything kind of echoing around on this plains, and just there's no really. It's hard to tell where it comes from. It seems semi-close. It's pretty loud. You can hear it quite clearly.
Was it coming from I know we couldn't tell where it was coming from. Can we tell where it wasn't coming from? Because I like the idea, like Morrow's idea about the rocky outcroppings.
But
But
give me a perception with 1 bane.
Perception with 1 bane. Would my scout expert path ability alertness, which allows me to make all perception rolls with 1 boon, help with that?
Sure will.
So just make a straight up roll.
Yep.
I got an 11.
Okay. So it's definitely not coming from way up ahead in the forest. That's way too far for it to hear it the way it is. Off to the west is where you see some of the small little croppings of trees. To the east is where you see some of these rocky outcroppings. If you were to guess, it's coming from that direction, but it's really hard to say which one exactly.
Okay. Well, I tell Morrow and John that, it seems like it might be coming from that general direction, but that's also our best option for shelter, right?
Right.
Of course.
So what do you guys want to do?
I think bed down. What time of day is it?
It'd be about noonish.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think we might just need to sit this wind out, see if it dies down at all.
Good.
If that hasn't died down by tomorrow, then we'll just have to soldier on through it.
Right.
You see another crack of lightning in the distance, a little bit closer. You can feel the hair on the back of your neck stand up, Morrow. And then another flash of light. Morrow, why don't you give me a agility challenge roll? 3 banes.
3? Jesus Christ.
And Morrow is struck by lightning.
Yeah, I'm a sailor. Does that help? Oh, fucking natural 20 though.
All right.
So 16.
You feel, that hair on the back of your neck. You feel that tingling up your legs and on your, I guess, maybe you have hair, I don't know. But on your arms and stuff. You got this big metal, well, not big, but a nice dog-sized metal contraption sitting on your shoulders, lightning flashing around. You can feel as this, you notice this thing is definitely attracting some of these ions and kind of, you need to get out of there unless you want to get hit by some lightning because you're a perfect target on the open plains.
Yeah, whatever the nearest, rocky outcropping big enough to support, a little campsite, I'll head for. Yeah. And mold it into a cave.
Okay. So you guys see Morrow hauling ass across this, right where he stood. You see this little strike of lightning flash, sending you guys back a few feet. Sulfur smell in the air.
Yeah, John's going to just take off hauling ass after him. Wants no part of the snow.
Morrow, you're the first one to get there. As you come up to the closest big rocky outcropping, you see a couple, looks like 4 boulders kind of coming up out of the dirt to the side of you. And then straight up ahead is this one larger one. And it actually has almost like its mouth opening. It starts to form a little bit of a cave that kind of goes down into the ground a little ways. A little bit of your magic and that would definitely create something that you could get into. So Morrow, you kind of run down into this thing. Reckham, John, you guys after him. Move down into this huge area. It has these very sharp stalagmites that kind of hang down the mouth opening of this little cave rocky outcrop, whatever you want to call it. You can see is just as you guys get in there, this heavy torrential pour of this thick reddish slime stuff, this drifting ash. You can hear the thunder rolling across and the winds just tear through this little cavern. The cavern itself looks to be mostly empty. There's some rubble and stuff. You can see a few discarded backpacks that are rotted away. You can see a little area that had a cave or a little fire pit. In the far back, you can see this opening about 4 foot in diameter, so it goes deeper and deeper down into the ground. Smells kind of musty, old.
Are there any signs of anything living around?
Yeah, is there a path down through here, or
kind of scout around on the ground and look around stuff. It doesn't look like it's been disturbed in a very long time, at least most of the season.
Cool.
There's some old fall leaves that are scattered around in here, and there's no tracks in the dirt or nothing.
So probably used as a way station, people similar to us, but before the doom snow. So all right, I guess do your thing, Morrow, if you guys want to, or do you want to explore down in here a little bit more first?
Well, I need to rest so I can grow this fucking handbag.
Yeah.
You know, put that in there. But,
John would like scout the immediate area.
Scout in the media area, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, besides, I mean, it's definitely make up a nice little camp area. And that's what it looks like it was used at some point, but, you know, just nobody's been through in a while. If you move down this little cavernous open for a little ways, you can see it goes down about 25 feet more or so before this big opening in the floor. And it just drops down into like this cavernous underground area. You can see a couple of ropes kind of nailed into the wall that hang down this opening like somebody's been down there before. Very musty sort of smell. You can hear the sound of running water down there. But it looks like it just goes into like the more under cavernous areas.
Sure. So yeah, like John will go back and tell his companions about this cavern and everything, and end up a small little camp and like build a fire and all that.
See Siren kind of crawl off your shoulders. Morrow crawls down your leg, skitters across the floor as you get this little fire and stuff ready there. John, get all your little bundles of sticks kind of gathered up and stuff. Kind of walks over and you see one of his fingers kind of flip back and this little flame just kind of shoot out, lighting your sticks on fire. And like, kind of closes it back up and it just looks at you with this little mechanical smile.
I smile back at it, give it like a thumbs up.
It kind of wanders around the room. You can see it skitter along the wall a little bit up across the ceiling. It seems almost very spider-like because it seems to be able to walk along pretty much anything. And pokes around, finally kind of crawling itself into this little corner nook area and just kind of curls up. Almost its legs kind of wrap around itself. Its body kind of tucks in and forms this little ball cocoon thing.
It's pretty cute.
Anything else you guys are gonna do? Are you gonna rest for the rest of the day, or?
Yeah, let's do our rest. We could all benefit from it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And of course, set a watch. Since it's roughly noon, can't get anything done. You got 2 hours. You got 2 hours. You can be outside.
There's this soft droning sound. It seems to be coming from the back of the cavern. Gets a little bit louder, and then just this blast of this horn sound again echoes up from this hole that's in the back corner through the mouth opening of the cavern and outside, just washing over you guys. I need strength challenge rolls from all of you.
Oh, 16.
Good.
That's a 2.
Okay. Both of you take 4 thunder damage.
Cool.
So Rekka, maybe you kind of step to the side a little bit. It didn't quite hit you, but you see both Morrow and John just get thrown to the ground. And it's almost like you can see these literal waves of sound washing over them and echoing out into the plains. The ground begins to tremble a little bit, shake. Those of you on the ground, you're trying to pick yourselves up. But Rekka, all you notice is this huge mouth cavernous opening beginning to close down.
Guys. Well, I mean, how quickly is it closing?
Pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah, I'll make a break for it.
Yeah, John will kind of pick himself up and go for it.
And
Yeah,
I'll
glad we
shout
hadn't
for
started camping.
Siren as well to join us.
Yeah, seeing that, Siren would definitely clamber down. He follows along pretty close. All of you make a break for it. You can see these huge stalactites kind of coming down. The tips of them just starting to sink into the earth a little bit. Some of them still up a little bit. That would be an agility challenge roll. All of you. 3 banes.
3 banes.
3 bangs. Oh,
Minus 3.
All right.
15.
Morrow's determined to go the way of Torrig. Jesus.
well, I got a 10. I had a 13, but I got a 10.
All right. Both Retcom, John, you guys slip through just barely. Getting on the other side. Behind you, Morrow dives through. You can see Siren skitter across him and get out from under this thing. Morrow, you only get about half of the way before you can feel this sharp impact against on your back shoulder blade, your right shoulder blade. And it kind of sticks you in place at the moment you dive forward. And you guys watch as this mouth closes down a little bit more. It's one of these tooth-like stalactites coming down, sink into the back of Morrow's flesh, and begins to drive itself right through his back, down into the ground, pinning him there.
Really? Another door with you? Jesus Christ, Morgan. Every time. First Alabama, my hand. Now you're killing me with another door.
Well, I rolled a 10 for your damage, too.
Yeah, I'm fucking dead.
Is it quite a pain to be dead?
Reckham and John, behind you, you can hear more of this thunderous storm just wash across. You look behind you, in the distance is this big cloud of what looks to be sand, wind, just kind of this vortex of things spinning through the air in your guys' direction. As you see this tornado, bits and pieces of trees in it, blood red in color. If you listen closely, you can sounds, screams of the dying. Pretty sure you can see some what looks to be maybe a face making up part of this as it's roaring across the plains in your direction.
So John's like freaking out at this point because Morrow was like an old friend of his. So he's like fucking trying to like dig away at something, trying to get into this to get to his friend.
Give me a strength challenge roll.
Sure.
Just
Yeah,
leveling up my background character.
We'll certainly try to get Morrow out. I don't know if that's possible, considering, but...
That was a 14, Morgan.
All right. So yeah, maybe using your staff as a little bit of leverage. You can see Siren kind of hurries over and kind of flips his hand back, and you see this blade come out and start spinning like a little saw blade. He starts trying to carve into this tooth that's pinning Morrow down. He almost sounds like this whimpering sort of sound coming from the gears within him. You can see he just stares almost lovingly at Morrow as you try to pry up with your staff as well. Reckham?
I'm going to jump over there and try to help lift
give me a strength challenge roll as well.
I got a 1.
All right. You can see Reckham beside you straining like hell to try to lift this thing, push this thing up. Between the saw blade and your own staff, though, John, you're able to finally just knock enough of this thing loose that the stone kind of crumbles around. And you see Morrow pinned to the ground. Siren hurries over and kind of shoves this thing the best it can off of him. He has a bit of a rock kind of lodged in your back shoulder, Morrow. Give yourself 1 hit point, Morrow.
Okay.
Yeah, you're still conscious. You look up to see these guys. They just helped you or something. And then you feel something grip the back of your calf right next to your heel of your foot. And you guys just see him as he gets dragged through into the darkness.
You gave me 1 hit point just to kill me twice.
Pretty much, yes.
Thanks, Morgan.
So John's like freaking out at this point. He's like, screaming like after Morrow and everything, but like he's not following down after him. If like I'm guessing that it doesn't look like he can easily get down there.
There's enough room for you to be able to crawl through. Yeah, but you'd have to get down and kind of jimmy your way in. But as you're looking at this, John, you feel this heavy thud, and as you kind of look up, you see what looks to be a bit of a halfling arm just splatter against the rock, and then 3 bits of bone, look like rib bones, just smash into the stone, digging in 2 or 3 inches deep and twanging. They're kind of like arrows into a tree. And then, a few more. Behind you, you can see this tornado thing getting closer and closer. It's about 20 feet out vortex. The screams of definitely halflings within. You can see bits and pieces of them spinning around in this.
Yeah. John, should we go into the...
Just as you say that, as you kind of As you look over at Reckham, John, beyond him to the north, you can see what looks to be a group of men, all of them on horses, 10, 12 of them maybe. They look quite a ways out, maybe like half a mile out. They're just kind of specks in the distance between this haze. You can see them sitting there, and then they slowly start to disappear into the fog.
Perhaps we should get away from them. I don't think there's anything else that we can do for our poor friend. We should maybe get away from them then.
Okay, what's the nearest shelter? Again, the nearest outcropping of trees or something. We got a tornado bearing down on us.
There's definitely some outcroppings of trees. There's some rocky outcroppings. There's the forest in the far, far distance if you wanted to really run. It's up to you guys. I mean, it's not moving super fast, but it's, flinging chunks of half-lean meat and bones in your direction, so.
Definitely. You say we have trees?
Yep,
Yeah,
there's trees.
I think we would run towards trees. Really any kind of cover at this point.
Yeah, just the nearest possible decent cover.
Nice. So both of you just break out running, leaving Morrow behind in the maw of this rocky outcropping. Pretty sure you can hear his screams. You know that he, at least was alive. But how do you feel about leaving him behind? Is there a tang of guilt there, or are you just looking out for yourselves?
There is a huge tang of guilt on John's part.
Yeah. Redcomb's not sure that they made the right decision, but with the doom tornado coming down, throwing gore at us, and mystery riders over there, 12 cavalry at least. We got to find some shelter. And I'm all for coming back for Morrow if we can. If this thing is open after the bloodstorm passes.
All right, so you guys just haul ass across this open plains towards the next. You can see a little bit of patch of trees, some bushes, some boulders that kind of rise up in there. It takes just a few moments for you to get across here. All the while, you can feel past the spattering of this blood. You can feel bits and pieces of this halflings just creating down around you. I'll have an attack roll on both of you first. John is a miss. Reckham is going to be a 19, though. Ouch. So as you're running, John, you're just a few feet behind Reckham. You see what looks to be a bit of a shin bone just smash right through the back of Reckham's armor into his back, another one into his back of his thigh, and then a third one into his arm. Those little shard things. He took 10 points of damage on that, Reckham.
Yikes.
Are you still up, though?
I am.
Okay. So yeah, just as you kind of dive into the cover of these bushes and stuff, you roll across the ground. You can feel your stomach drop a little bit as you kind of careen down a little bit of an incline, and both of you just hit the ground hard. You can hear this roaring sound of this tornado that's going past. Bits and pieces of halfling bones kind of rain down around you. The whole trees, everything shakes. And it lasts a few moments. It feels like it's just over top of you. I need will challenge rolls from both of you with one bane.
Sure.
13.
Yeah, you're good.
That's an 8.
All right. So you fail, but we'll bring back to you in just a moment. Morrow, you can feel something grab the back of your calf. As you look up, you can see the others. They kind of that horrified look as you get dragged into the darkness. You can feel yourself getting dragged across this stone floor, down into this little opening in the back of this cavernous area you're in, down a small incline, and then everything around you just drops as you just fall through this hole. Give me, you can see that rope that's right beside you. You're going to try to grab the rope, or you just falling? You're muted.
I only have one hand.
It would just be a Jelly Challenge roll with one bane then.
Only one? Jeez. That's bad. Oh, fucking -2.
All right. Reckham and John, as you guys are moving across, you did realize that you were still missing a member of your party. You feel this sharp pain. It's something kind of digs into your shoulder, Morrow, and then a couple little things kind of wrap around your head, and you can feel Siren as he like attaches himself to you, holding on to you as you fall through. You come down, you can feel that ground getting closer and closer, and then you hit. It's like this falling into this huge pile of hay and feathers. Everything just kind of explodes around you as you lay in the darkness. This little bit of glimmering light above that's left shining through, and then right to your left, this bright flash, and then these two beams of light open up. You can see Siren within this light, its eyes almost like flashlights as it looks around, kind of scanning the darkness. You feel a sharp pain on your shoulder as it kind of crawls off of you. And then you see its hand reach out, holding this small little vial in its hand. It kind of nods towards you. Morrow.
Sorry, what? Sorry, I thought you were talking to someone else.
Oh, sorry, no. You can, as you kind of land into this area, you can see this, feels like you're going to hit the ground, but instead it's like almost like hay or feathers or something that you land into.
Right.
Beside you, you can see it's nothing but darkness, and then you see a bright flash of lights, two of them that kind of open up like two flashlights that scan the room. And you can see Siren standing there beside you on all of his little legs, his eyes almost like flashlights as he peers around this room. It looks like you're in this big, open, cavernous area. Then his hand kind of juts out, holding one of these small little vials, and he kind of motions for you to take it.
I'll take it and drink it.
It's natural 6s, so 12 hit points.
Oh,
I'm gonna heal.
Wow.
Nice. Thank you.
You can see he kind of crawls up your leg a little bit, and then gets back situated on your shoulders. His eye is scanning this cavernous room. You can see it kind of washes across the walls. You can see all these old, primitive paintings on the walls. People hunting, stick figures, animals, all sorts of weird, primitive sort of caveman-like things. As his eyes come across the back wall, though, you see 3 doors, all of them made out of what looks to be like a heavy wooden frame of some sort.
I'll go for the middle one.
Move forward. On the door itself, you see what looks to be almost like a skeletal engraving of this man. And he's holding a plate of, looks like food, maybe meat or something.
An engraving.
Yep. If you kind of glance to the door on your right, you see the same thing. And the one to the left, though, you see what looks to be a man almost basically just wearing like a loincloth, and he holds 2 orbs in each hand, kind of outstretched.
Oh, shit. I'll go for that one then, because it's different.
Just opening it up, you can see it has like the heavy knocker thing and the thing to grab a hold of and kind of pry it open.
Yeah. I'll just enter.
Grab that and pull it open. You can hear the creaking and the grinding of these hinges. Everything kind of, this really cold blast of air kind of muffles out, and the smell of death, or reeking crimson smell, or I'm sorry, a copper smell. As you kind of swing this open, you can see Siren's eyes that can light up this room. It looks to be a simple 10-foot sort of square chamber. The flooring itself is covered in this thick reddish slime. Some of it kind of crunches underfoot. Other bits are a little bit slippery. Everything looks completely bare as you kind of scan the room until you get to the eastern wall. As Siren's lights kind of flash up, you see this man hanging there by a pair of manacles. They hang from the ceiling down. He looks like he's partly standing. His knees are buckled a little bit. He's been completely stripped of his skin. He just hangs there, this fleshy, meaty skeleton. On the floor in front of him, you can see what's left of his skin, and it's been staked down to the floor, all stretched out like a tanned hide. The entire skin is covered in these little strange ruins and magical ruins, perhaps divine in nature, maybe arcane. It's hard to say. Behind him on the wall, there's just bloody handprints everywhere. He hangs there for a few moments. Yeah. And then he slowly kind of lifts his head up. No eye sockets in the skull or anything, just empty blackness, and just stares at you.
I'll say, Well, I'm sorry for what's happened to you. I'll put you out of your misery, and I'll draw my dagger and step towards him.
You can see his hands kind of move a little bit, and he shakes his head. He says, "No, this is my fate. Touch me, and it will be yours."
Well, I mean, I won't touch you. It's just my knife will touch you, but I'll make sure that I don't. You know. Are you? Why? Why are you?
Says, "I was here 4 centuries ago. Just like yourself, I saw the man hanging from the wall, just like myself. And I thought the same, to put him out of his misery. And then I woke up here."
But what if I like stay back and use a spell? Then I won't be touching you.
"I do not know, but Narcool has gifted me here, condemned me to this fate. I will let you ask but one question anymore, and you will die."
Who are you?
Says, "My name, I've been known by many. Antherion, Atsun, Guthop, Marand, many names. But I am now known as the Flayed King."
Oh, you're a king. That's pretty cool.
Says, "Is that your question?"
I think so. Yeah. Have I ever heard of the Flayed King?
As soon as you mention that, his body just goes completely limp and he hangs there. You can see some of the flesh kind of rot away on his bones. Give me a will challenge roll.
Shit. Oh, that's 2.
I'm rolling a lot of 6s today. Gonna be 6 insanity.
When does insanity things happen?
When it equals your wisdom.
Oh yeah, I'm insane.
All right, well, let's see what happens to you then.
Jesus.
Give me a 1d20 roll.
6.
Oh, let's see. I didn't think I'd need that so fast. Oh, 6. All right. So as you watch him decay almost in front of you, you're almost assaulted by all these different visions. You see the land as it once was, these huge primordial beasts kind of trekking across the land, all these primitives around it trying to hunt it down, these huge boulders that they're smashing it with, sharpened sticks as spears. Then it kind of flashes forward a little bit. You see buildings cropping up. You see hundreds and hundreds of halflings around, all making these little lean-tos, tents. You see what looks to be this red glare in the sky, and then everything just goes completely red and then black around you. What's left is this just ruined, desiccated world. You can see trees burning, people screaming, their limbs falling apart. And then in front of you, everything kind of comes back to normal. You see the skeleton kind of hanging there from this manacles on the ceiling. You see Retcom beside you. You see John beside you, Siren next to you as well. You see Belch in the corner of the room, picking the fleshes of meat off of the skeleton and popping it into his mouth. What do you do?
Do I see Torig as well?
Sure, definitely. His head cracked open on the stone floor.
Yeah. I just look around, confused, and try and talk to Retcom.
What do you say?
Hi.
Reckham John, as you guys look above, you can see the trees kind of part a little bit, and just this blast of wind washes over top of the trees, bits of more of these halflings and stuff, and you can see what looks to be this huge, gigantic what looks to be a giant sort of figure. This long, hanging beard of tentacles kind of hangs off of its chin, drips down this slimy red gore stuff, spattering across. You're going to be frightened, John, and you only got 1 insanity. As you guys look above, it seems to almost like it's trying to look for you. It kind of scans across. You can see these buffets of wind parting the trees, things moving around. You guys are hit by small pebbles, boulders, bits of limbs, and brush. And then it slowly starts to move away again. After a few moments, you can hear it off in the distance roaring. And then right beside you, Reckham, you feel almost like this soft touch on your shoulder. You see, and you hear a voice, sounds a lot like Morrow's, say, "Hi."
I look to make sure he's not there. I look around. If he's not there, I mention this to John and say, "Did you hear that?"
He's not there, and John, you didn't hear anything.
All right.
I could have sworn I heard Morrow.
I
So,
think you
Morrow.
can hear me.
Yeah, you can hear Reckham just perfectly fine, like he's standing there talking to you, Morrow.
Sweet.
Same with you, John. But you can't hear anything. Or I'm sorry, you can hear anything, John.
Yeah. So John's just like, yeah, the last I heard of Morrow too, he was screaming as he was being pulled into the cave.
No, I'm hearing him speak now. Morrow, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Rickham.
He's talking to me. John, he's talking to me. You can't hear him? I can't see him, but I can hear him.
John's just like looking around like, what the hell, man? I don't hear anything. Like, this is not...
Where, Morrow, where are you?
God only knows.
Are you in the cave? Last we saw you, you got pulled into the cave.
Yeah, I think I am in the cave.
Fuck.
Like, I'm standing right in front of Reckham, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I punch him in the gut.
So yeah, you feel with your stump of your hand.
Yeah.
So you get a bit stumped in the gut, I guess.
Oh, what was that?
That was me. So I guess I'm invisible. All right, I'll go punch John.
As soon as you move up to it, it just kind of wisps away into this reddish sort of smoke. And then you see what looks to be that snowy ash drift to the ground, covering the floor. Does the same thing with Belch. Torig's, his head's already cracked open on the floor.
So it's almost like astral projection type thing. Is what I'm.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I could still be lying, broken at the bottom of a.
You certainly could.
Okay. So yeah, I try and talk to John.
Yeah. Whatever you say, John, you don't hear nothing from him. Like, all you see is Reckham here holding in his gut where he got punched and talking to himself, I guess.
Around like just calling Morrow's name, like trying to find him.
So I'll like just speak and say, Reckham, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm looking around again, trying to find him.
So John can't hear me though.
Nope.
This is weird. I'll say that. Well, I think it may be some kind of astral projection type thing. Like, I'm not really here, but I am here.
But
it's really freaking me out.
But where you are, it looks like a cave, or because
Yeah, well, I can just see you guys, but I can also see Sir Belch, Torig, and everyone.
Yeah, they all just kind of turn into misty ash, though, and then kind of disappear. So the only one left in that room with you is Reckham.
Okay, so everyone's just disappeared, and I can only see you.
Oh.
This is tripping me out, if I'm honest.
So what happened? We just saw something drag you back in as the cave was, as the outcropping was closing, and
Honestly, no idea what happened. I just got dragged in, fell down a hole, landed on some straw, and Siren was there. He helped me up, and then now there was the Flayed King, and I tried to help him, but he told me not to. And then when I stopped talking to him, I just appeared here.
okay,
John, as you kind of wandering around, you kind of pass by a few bushes and stuff here, looking around. Everything's just kind of covered in this meaty gore and bones of halflings and whatnot. And then you kind of feel this sharp point on the back of your neck. You kind of turn your head. You see one of these men on a horse, his lance spear kind of pointed down toward you, just resting on your shoulder. He kind of puts his hand up to his lips as if he didn't shush you.
John does not say a word.
Can I see him?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
He kind of makes this motion in the air, and you see another one kind of part through the trees and move forward, and another one. Within a few moments, there's 6 of these men on horses around you. They all have these large lances. You see one that seems to be dressed a little bit more better, has this large turban thing on his head, these heavy vests over top of him. Just his eyes kind of peek through the clothing. Kind of moves forward, puts his hands like this, and everybody kind of lowers their things down since they have you surrounded. He says, "What you come to my plains for?"
Well, we're just kind of out enjoying the weather, you know.
Do not mock me, human.
Your planes. Who are you?
Squinset cigar.
Bless you.
He says, "You and your friend will be our captives. Will you come peacefully?"
I will come peacefully. Yes, I cannot speak for my large friend though.
Reckham, John, or I'm sorry, Mara, you guys motion, talking back and forth for a moment. As you do look over Reckham, you see John as he kind of disappears from some trees and stuff, and he's gone for a few moments. And then you can see what looks to be a bit of a spearhead peeking through, and then the bushes kind of part open a little bit as this man on a horse moves through towards you. Another one behind him, and then the third kind of leading John towards you at the tip of his spear.
So I can see 3 of them at least.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Well, I'm kind of guessing this might be a part of the 12 we had seen earlier. So I tell Morrow, hang on a second. So, John, are you okay?
For the moment, I'm okay, but I think these men would like to speak with us.
Well, we have there's one in the cave. I don't. So yeah, there's one of us in the cave.
You see the one seems to be like the leader of the ones kind of step forward, pulls himself off this horse and kind of moves up to you. Reckon he probably stands a good foot or so above you, very large built. You can only see his eyes, so it's hard to tell what race he is. It looks humanish, but it can't quite tell. It's kind of narrow at you. You entered the mouth of the king and lived.
The Flayed King, yes.
So what do you know of the Flayed King?
Well, the guy who's in the cave talked to him just a minute ago for the conversation.
If there's anybody in the cave, they're dead.
Can I hear Retcom's side of the conversation?
Yes, you can.
So I'll say, tell him that his skin was all off and there was runes on it.
Our compatriot in the cave says that the Flayed King's skin was all off and there were runes on his flesh.
He looked rather fleet.
I was only allowed to answer a certain amount of questions.
He says, "Your friend does not live."
I'm talking to him.
You are mad with insanity.
Redcom, shouldn't our patrols be on their way back soon?
He kind of snaps his head over towards you. Says, "There's more of you."
Yeah, there's like 20 of us. They are all out patrolling right now.
That is excellent. We will have many more slaves. You see all of his men kind of chuckle.
Well, that. But seriously, there's one of us in the cave. I mean, I'm talking to him right now. You can't see him. I know.
This man says something in a different tongue, and you see all the others kind of laugh as he motions towards you, Reckham. His hand kind of reaches over and grabs you by the scruff of the neck, John. He says, "You're coming with me." And he kind of turns, John, and starts to force you to follow the others.
John just kind of nods his head towards Reckham. He's like, yeah, I don't get it either. I don't know how he's talking to him.
He says, "You look important. A wise man like yourself. They'll certainly all come for you."
I am not important. I am the cook on the grand scheme.
Men need to eat, right?
I'm not a very good cook at that.
Yeah, he just kind of has a strong grip on the back of your neck as he kind of shoves you forward. You see he reaches up to grab a pair of manacles, slapping one around the base of his saddlebag, getting ready to put the other one on you.
We can't fight him. How far are we from the rocky outcropping? The trees where we are now, how far are they from the...
About 100 yards or so.
Oh, that's too far. They're on horseback.
Fly, you fool.
I've got 2 hit points. Well, which they can tell by looking at me because sure we look like shit. So the important guy, the important looking guy, or the guy who looked more important on horseback.
Yeah, he's the one that has a hold of John by the scruff of the neck and getting ready to.
Right.
Looks like he's going to manacle him to the horse.
And he says, "So slaves for what? For whom?"
He turns. For the Ghoul.
Wait, you guys are looking for slaves? There was a whole village of halflings a few days back.
Says the disease.
Oh yeah, they make great slaves.
The rotten halflings are all diseased. They're all will be gone soon enough.
Not the ones we saw.
Oh, they were pretty lively.
Scrambling all over the place from what we saw.
Kind of stares at you for a few moments. He says, "You all lie."
Undiseased halflings, I mean, they make great slaves. So compliant, those little hands can do all kinds of stuff that big fellows like you and me can't.
It's true. Hey, Rob, I sent you a message on Facebook.
Cheers.
All the while, you can hear what sounds to be almost like this soft groaning sound in the back of your head, Reckham. A little bit of a laughter kind of mixed in between Morrow's words.
Did you guys hear that? Did you hear laughing? Did you hear anybody here laughing? I think I need a rest. Nobody else hears anything.
This leader guy just stares at you. You can see some of the other ones kind of back out of the way a little bit. He reaches over, grabbing a hold of your arm, John, getting ready to put this on. Do you do anything?
Yeah. As I see Reckham there, hearing voices and trying to, tell everyone else what he's hearing. John thinks to himself, he's like, "Oh, all right. So this guy, he's touched in the head. You don't want him. I have what he has. We are not slaves."
This man nods. He says, "Your friend has been touched by the king. We will let him suffer his demise here."
I hear laughing too. There's voices everywhere.
He says, but you do not have the mark. And he kind of grabs your face kind of roughly, staring into your eyes. Says, you are just fine. Perhaps crazy and a shitty cook, but we will teach you. We will make you cook well.
Very well, very well. Yeah, I guess I'm out. Okay, so what?
Yeah, you see him kind of slap this manacle on John. He stares back at you for a few moments as he climbs back up onto his horse, Reckham. And then he kind of sets this thing into a walk forward. You can keep up with the horse just fine, so you're not like dragged behind it or anything, John. As he kind of just pulls you forward, and then they kind of disappear between these trees. You see John kind of looking back at you. You do notice, John, that as you kind of look back at Reckham, what color eyes does Reckham have?
His eyes are brown.
So you see his one brown eye. The other one is this pale, opaquish, blind sort of eye, his left eye. You can see perfectly fine out of a Reckham. You don't notice any different, but you notice it just as the you kind of pulled the head, John. It's the last thing you see of Reckham's face.
I was like, no.
Slavery's not looking too bad, eh? Madness.
All right. I knew you had to head out kind of shortly, John, so we will kind of hop over to you for the next game and be able to sort all that out, if that's cool with you.
Awesome.
All right.
Sounds great.
Don't worry, you're still alive.
For now.
For now. So, Reckham, you kind of left here. You can hear Morrow speak to you whenever he says anything, but you just kind of left in this little conclave of trees and stuff. Around you, you can hear the rain still kind of pitter-pattering, this drizzly stuff coming around you, this snowy ash stuff drifting around. Morrow, you can look around in this room that you're in. You don't see Siren around you anymore. You see what looks to be this skeletal figure of the flayed king on the back wall. And even that kind of almost like it starts to fade away out of view. This cold sort of grip on your arm. You kind of glance down. You see a manacle around your left wrist. And then your arm is just kind of yanked up. Then one on your right, and that's yanked up as well. Then you feel yourself getting slammed against this back wall. Changelings don't have any flesh, but you can see what looks to be these pile of twigs and stuff just get pulled from your body, scattered across the floor in some sort of a humanoid shape. And all that's left of you, that you look down, is like this primordial sort of ooze and mist and stuff of whatever your internals might look like as a changeling. You can feel yourself getting pulled, and then the cold stone on your back wall. The last thing you kind of see is you kind of slouch forward as your eyes from your sockets just kind of hit the floor, kind of splatter across this cobblestone. All right, thanks, Mike.
Later, man.
Thank you. Yeah, see, Mike.
And as Morrow becomes the next flayed thing in this room, as you kind of look up, you can see what's around you is just pitch black darkness. Morrow. Reckham, you can hear something like moving in the bushes up ahead. You can hear this heavy breathing.
Well,
Then you hear a voice. It sounds like Morrow's. This is perhaps we need to be quiet.
Okay, I have one use left on my healer's kit, and I'm going to use it.
Give me a will challenge roll.
Okay.
You got one boon on that too for your mercenary thing.
Oh, natural 20. Yay.
All right. So go ahead and heal your healing rate.
I'll take it.
So as you kind of bandage things up, you can hear the brushing of these bushes rustle again for a few moments, and then something kind of step through. Rob, what does this person look like?
You see a fairly enormous man step through. He's human. He has sort of blonde hair and a beard, sort of pulled back. He's wearing sort of large, heavy furs, and his body is covered in all sorts of weird, blasphemous runic tattoos. He is holding a fairly massive axe, and yeah, he's extremely tall, fairly good looking, but sort of really dark circles under his eyes.
I imagine most people
Yeah.
have pretty dark circles under their eyes in this world.
Right.
You hear Morrow's voice, Reckham. Ask him who he is. Ask him who he is.
So Redcomb puts his hand on the hilt of his sword and says, "Who are you?"
Good, good.
My name is Scully. Put it in the chat.
What are you doing out
Who
here?
are you? Hey, Dane.
So, Scully, you've probably been maybe traveling these planes for a little bit. It's up to you if you want to be actually from here, or whatever you want to do as far as your background stuff goes. You would have saw that huge tornado thing kind of ripping through. It's just a blood-nado, they call them. Often. Not something common, obviously, but maybe with your cultist background or something, you've heard of such things. Basically, it is the coagulation of thousands of deaths kind of getting magically turned into these things. Probably ran here as well for cover, and seeing those others, you would have seen the 6 men, well, actually it would have been 12 men on horses riding out of here. They're often, what are they called? They are the, I closed my page. We're going to call them the Mandro. These, they're sort of like, they're basically half-orcs between the human barbarians and orcish tribes. They're not necessarily evil, but they do make everybody else do all their work for them as they just kind of raid villages and populate. Excellent, excellent horsemen.
I was hiding from the horsemen and the blood-nado. Trying to survive.
It's sort of like a Sharknado, but with halflings.
So, and you said that the blood NATO and the storm has passed on from this immediate area, right?
Yep.
Moved
You
off to
can
the,
still hear it whirl, screaming in the distance and stuff. If you kind of move out into actually see, you can see it's a couple leagues away, but it's.
Do we still have the doom snow falling, the red ash?
Yep.
Okay.
You can hear that voice in the barrel. I think it lies. You should kill it. Kill this man.
I'm going to mutter, and I'm not going to kill it. I'm not going to kill it.
Who are you
So-
talking to?
Give me a will challenge roll, Rickham.
10.
All right. You just kind of hear like this kind of growl on the back of your head.
So, yeah. Sorry. It's been a long day. Do you? I'll ask him. I'll ask him a question. So, do you know anything about this area? Kind of gestures toward the rocky outcroppings. Do you know anything about the Flayed King?
I'm assuming I'd know a little bit.
Yeah, give me an intelligence challenge roll. Give yourself 2 boons, though.
Okay.
See how much you know.
Fucking nothing. 6.
You still know a little bit, though. You probably definitely heard of the Flayed King. The stories of those who speak to it become it. It is sort of not a paranormal entity, but sort of a non-existent entity,
Right.
for lack of a better term. Maybe your native language has words for it, but you can't quite put it into common tongue. But these things, it kind of travels from mind to mind. When people speak to it, it'll invade their consciousness and transfer like a virus to somebody else's. One person dies, another one becomes this thing until the next person comes along.
Right. Yeah, so I'll just recount that, just everything I know, sort of guardedly though, sort of hanging back.
Don't listen to him, Reckham. It lies. We should kill it. And we
Rickham
can rest.
shakes his head, and I do need to rest. It's like
Yes, we should rest.
Scully, where are we were 3, 4 if you count the mechanical halfling spider. Kind of mutters under his breath. Where are you going? What are you doing? Are you
Honestly, I don't really have anywhere to go at the moment. Just trying to survive.
All the more reason we should kill it, Reckham. We should kill
Shut up! Shut up!
I wasn't saying anything.
No, not you. Not you. So I don't. Of course, I don't know that the Mandra are going to come back here because they think I'm crazy, and apparently I'm kind of crazy. So they probably won't. But I don't know that we should stay right here.
I'll stay right here with you, Reckham.
How far again are the forest that we were trying to get to? The one that was in the distance was a couple hours. Now,
Yeah,
I mean, now still a couple hours away.
Yeah, still about a couple hours. Yeah.
Okay. And what time of day is it now after all this?
Yeah, a little bit early afternoon, one-ish sort of area.
Okay, well, let's see. I'm thinking that I might just need to get away from the rocky outcropping. Don't know what else to do. So I'll point off in the distance to the forest that we were heading toward, which I guess is en route. And say, well, I'm trying to go there. You're welcome to go with me because, quite frankly, I don't know how anybody survives in this world alone anymore.
I kind of think for a moment.
What has Scully been doing up to now, or what's?
So he used to be part of a insane cult, and he was sort of doing they'd taken over this sort of area, and there was like a weird crypt in the area. So he went down into the crypt, and there was a statue in there that sort of whispered all these sort of dark secrets to him, and he's kind of learnt the ways of various types of magic, and seeing like that he was much more powerful, the cult sort of tried to have him killed because he was a threat to them. So he escaped and has just been on the run ever since.
Nice. So this cult that you're a part of, if you notice Scully's hands, Reckham, you'll see like this, almost like they're tattooed this whitish sort of color. As you are part of the White Witch cult, Scully, you know that she's not necessarily good, not necessarily evil, selfish maybe. They have their own beliefs of only through destruction, through basically the apocalypse will only the true survivors will be what's left of quality life, basically. That one thing though that's always that snag in your cult's beliefs or whatever is the dead ghoul Narcool. This thing that's, its potential goal is to corrupt everything and to the point of nothingness. The two have often conflicting views on things. Neither one's, like I said, good, but
yeah. And sort of, is also that sort of thing where like he was kind of brainwashed by the cult, and then as soon as he left it and sort of met people in the outside world and realized sort of specifically kind of what was actually going on, he's sort of wised up to, actually that he's probably not the best idea to join a crazy cult.
You guys can hear what sounds like a giggling in the distance. A little bit more, you can hear voices speaking kind of softly.
And can't just hear it in the distance. It's just a vague.
Yep.
Can we
Sounds
tell?
like-
Okay.
Sounds like children kind of whispering to each other, giggling a little bit amongst each other. It's more halflings, Reckham. We should kill them.
Bangs the side of his head a time or two and shakes it.
Oh, I'm here for the long run.
If we're going to, if we're going to try to make that other forest before nightfall, which we should. Wait. We should.
Why is Scully trying to reach the bone column? What's there that he believes or wants or?
He has no idea, but the whispers that he hears in the back of his mind from this woman are just drawing him inexorably towards the column.
Whatever's there.
For reasons that he doesn't quite understand.
Okay. As you look at Scully, Reckham, you see a tiny little hand kind of appear on his shoulder. A little bit of this fluttering figure, almost fairy-like, and the soft sound of like chimes in the wind and giggling. Give me a perception check, Scully. Rob?
Yeah, I'm just checking my percent. 13.
I thought you were picking spells or something. 13?
No.
You're good. So yeah, you can feel this little soft hand on your shoulder. Just as you look over Scully, you see what looks to be this little fairy-like creature, but it has this long proboscis that kind of shuts out of its mouth and tries to jab into your neck. You see a couple more up here beside you, and then a few more. In total, 6.
Oh.
They kind of brush it off to the side so this thing doesn't pierce your neck and kind of swat it out of the way a little bit. It kind of flutters back on these little moth-like wings. And then they just more and more of these things kind of descend out of the trees around you guys. Would you like to go fast or slow?
I'll go first.
I'll go fast as well.
Fast, slow. Okay, both of you are fast. So in total, as you glance up, you see 8 of them in total kind of fluttering between the bushes, trees, just kind of starting to swarm around the 2 of you. Who wants to go first, Ken? They're like the size of fairies, just like little 1 foot, not even 1 foot in size.
And there's one on my shoulder.
Yep.
I'll fucking grab it with my left hand and just attempt to rip it in half. If it's
All right, go for it. Yep. Let's see, the defense on these things is 14.
Yeah, I rolled a 14.
All right. Grab a hold of this thing. Go ahead and just do whatever your normal damage is. Probably 1d6.
Yeah, 5 plus 2, 7.
Nice. Kind of grab this thing. You've seen these things before, just a constant bane of the plains. They're called broad mothers. Tiny little fairies with these long needle-like proboscises, almost like a mosquito type thing, that drink your blood, but they also infect you with larvae as well. You kind of crush this thing in your one hand, ripping its wings out before throwing it to the ground. The other 7 continue just to swarm around you. Reckham?
I'm going to kill them.
All right.
I've had enough. This day is long enough. I want some sleep, I'm going to kill me some mosquito fairies. So, although, it's just 1 second.
So would I know that this
Okay.
is like you can defeat these kind of thing, or is it like if you see these and they're swarming, you should probably just...
No, they travel in packs of the family, so it's probably this is all the family. There's not going to be like thousands of them or anything sort of coming. No, it's just probably its own little clutch.
Okay, well, I am going to attack one, but thanks to my path abilities with combat expertise, when you use an action to attack with a weapon, I can either deal an extra d6 damage or make another attack against a different target at any point before the end of the turn. I'm guessing fast or slow doesn't affect that since it's a path ability?
Right, yep.
Or does it?
Nope.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to use combat expertise, and I'm going to attack the nearest one.
All right.
And I got, let's see. I got an 11.
So yeah, you.
Oh, wait. Oh, good. I didn't get my boon on that, but I didn't need it. So good.
Yeah, you'll crush that thing.
All right. Splatter it. Do you want me to go ahead and do my other attack?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Oh, come here. So that would be in. Woohoo! 15.
That's a hit too. Damage?
That would be 9.
I'll take that one out too. So you just kind of
Yes.
swing your blade back and forth, severing these things from the sky as they flutter around you a little bit. Seeing you as the bigger threat at the moment, you see all 5 just swarm on top of you, trying to tear at your clothes. You can feel their proboscises kind of piercing into your skin. What's your defense?
My defense. My defense 15.
All right. That's 2 hits on you, though. 6 points of damage total between the 2 of them. You see all 5 of these things just swarm around this man with a sword, Scully, beginning to, some of them kind of start crawling up underneath his armor, down into the back of his shirt. One kind of attaches to the side of his face. You can feel their sharp needles kind of piercing your flesh. I'm going to need 2 strength challenge rolls from you, Raccoon.
11 and 17.
All right. So you're good at the moment. You can feel these things attach themselves to you, though, and then just your kind of almost that weakening sensation as these things start to suck your blood from your body. You can hear that voice in the back of your head saying, "We need to kill them all." Your hand kind of jerks back, almost like it's out of control, swatting one of them in the air. Go ahead and make one more attack roll.
Plus. Oh, yeah. Keep forgetting that boon. So 11 total.
Kind of reach out, snatching one of these in front of the air in front of you. You don't have, it's almost like you don't have control of your arm, and you can feel your mouth open up a little bit as your hand snatches one of these and just shoves it into your mouth. You take a huge bite out of it.
Ugh.
And fast or slow?
I'll go fast again, please.
I'll go fast again, too. How many of them are left now?
5.
5. Okay. Yep. I'll go fast as well.
Yeah, go for it, guys.
You can go first.
Do the same thing I did the last time with the combat expertise. And first one is 10. Well, do you want me to do the other roll now, or do you want me to wait until the end of the turn?
Yeah, go ahead. You can do it now, too.
Okay. And that one is an 18 total.
That one hits.
So a 10 and an 18.
18 hits.
That would be 9 total damage.
And you swing your sword around. You still can't seem to be using your other hand that you snatched this thing with as you're chomping away on what's left of it in your mouth. You seem like almost like you partly losing control of some of your body. Your other hand kind of swinging this blade around, taking another one out. Scully, you see your newfound friend eating these things alive from the air, swiping away at them.
I will. Oh, they're like swarming under me as well, aren't they?
Yep.
Okay. Then I will. Yeah, I'll bestow upon myself a rune of might, which means all strength and attack rolls I make have 2 boons.
Oh, damn.
So the strength challenge rolls. So yeah, I just kind of look down at my forearm, and there's one specific rune on there, and I just cover it with a hand and close an eye for a second, and then when I release my hand, it's kind of glowing, and the glowing sort of spreads up my body. And yeah, that's it.
Sweet. So you can see that rune start to glow on Newfound Reckham. And yeah, you can still feel more of these things kind of crawling around underneath your skin, piercing at your flesh, Reckham. The ones that have a hold of you do auto damage, which is going to be 3 points of damage.
Well, that puts me down.
All right. Give me a strength challenge roll, too, for those 2 first.
5 and a 2.
All right. Got it. You see your friend there, newfound friend Scully, go down. These things clamber, and you can see like underneath his vest, these things crawling around under there, and up his pant leg, this huge bulge in his crotch areas. One kind of swiggles around a little bit. One of them kind of starts to crawl out from his pant leg. It flutters up in the air towards you, and then another one. So there's still 2 left that are going to go after you, Scully. I got an 18 and a 6, so 18. And just 1 point of damage to you, Scully. As one grabs a hold of you. I need a strength challenge roll from you, though.
18.
You're good on that. You can see this thing, its little hands kind of grip a hold of your skin. Its legs kind of wrap around you to hold it tight as it shoves its little proboscis into your arm.
Yeah.
There's 2 still attached to Reckham and 2 attacking you.
Okay.
That would be the end of the round, so I guess it'd be a new round.
Yeah, I'll go
all right, I need a death save from Reckham, though.
Oh, it's a, well, I don't know. That's just a straight up roll?
Yeah. Oh, it's 1d6.
Yeah, oh, okay.
1d6. You don't want a 1.
I got a 5.
All right. You got 3 tries, so that's one of them. Nothing happens yet.
Okay.
Scully?
I'm going slow, yeah.
All right. Going slow. All right, this one's going to auto hit you for another 1 point of damage. See the 2 still holding on to Reckham tight. And there's just 1 more left on you, so what's your armor or your defense? I got a 13. I don't know if that hits Scully or not.
Yeah, that hits.
Another 1.
I do find in this game your defense is super low.
Yes, it is. So I'm just pinpricking you to death with these things. I need a strength challenge roll from that one, though.
17, 18, 19.
You're good. So 2 of them on Reckham, 2 of them have attached to you now, though, and you are up.
All right. I'm gonna run to the other side of Reckham, so that I'm behind him. But actually, no, I don't need to do that. I didn't even need to go slow. I'm an idiot. All right. But I am going to cast Dread in a 10-foot cone in front of me.
Okay.
So I need will challenge rolls from all of the things in that area.
These things are pretty good. Let's see. got a -3. So I got a 9, a 9, a 4, and an 11. So
Okay.
one
Well,
succeeds.
Everyone who fails is now afraid of me, and they have to go fast and use their action to move away from me. I think I said.
All right, and the
And
only one.
basically, what that looks like is sort of more of these weird runic tattoos glow, and they sort of make this huge kind of bestial mask in front of my face, which just like roars and looks like an insane Viking monster type thing.
Beautiful. You see one of these things kind of crawl out from Reckham, looking up at you, just lift into the air, kind of starting to flutter away. Another one behind it. One of them lets go of your arm that's got a hold of and flutters out. And you see these things flutter up good 10, 15 feet in the air, just kind of staring at you, and then they kind of zip into the tree line. The one that still has a hold of your leg, hold on tightly, just continuing to bite and suck the life out of you. Reckham, I need a death save.
5 again.
All right.
Yay.
You got one more chance left, and then after that you would die too. So one way or the other, we'll see. You got one that's still left to you on you, Scully, but you are, if you're going fast, slow, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'll go fast.
Yeah, you go first then.
Whack out my healing potion that you get for being a starting character at a certain level, and yeah, I'll just pour it down the throat of my newfound buddy.
All right. So your healing rate, Reckham,
Glug glug.
and the one on you does 4 points of damage this time, Scully, and then another strength save from you.
I'm so glad I cast that fucking strength. With strength, whatever it was. 21.
Beautiful. So yeah, you can see it continues to hold on to you, and it's the end of the round. So you guys are up.
I'm going fucking fast.
All right. Reckham.
I'll go fast as well. Yeah, I should be. I'm back up to 5 hit points. So there's only the one on Scully now, right? And the others are in the tree line or whatever.
Yep. You don't see him anymore.
I'm going to try to peel that one off him. So I'm going to kill it with my sword if I can.
So you see your newfound friend that you just healed coming at you with a sword, Scully.
Yeah.
Oh, and I got let's see, that'll be good probably. It's a 15 plus stuff.
Oh, yeah.
7 to 18 total.
Yep. And damage?
9.
All right. Yep. That'll take it out. So you can describe what you do and end of that.
He just comes down with a clean swipe and severs the proboscis, and then curves around and cuts the back of its body in half.
Nice.
So I guess the proboscis is probably still stuck in Scully, but other than that, it's off of him.
Yeah.
See this thing kind of splatter onto the ground. As you did kind of swing your hand around, though, and you notice where one of these had attached to like your shoulder area, Reckham, you can see this almost like something crawling underneath your skin and then disappear. And then another one is down on your leg area. You can feel this tickle.
For Reckham.
Infection. Nice. So
that,
below this.
I need a will challenge roll with 2 Banes, though.
Okay. Well, natural 20.
That's going to be a success no matter what, then.
Okay, well, good.
So, Scully, like I said, these dread mother things, besides just kind of living like mosquitoes, basically, but they populate by infesting other things that they attach to with larvae, which eventually culminates in the stomach, grows into usually 1d6 of these things that then burst forth, alien-like. There's an incubation period of basically 2 to 12 days.
And will it kill the host generally, or will it just like
Yeah, most of them are dead, but sometimes they have just some very nice scars and debilitations and insanity kicked on. So they might as well be
That's
dead.
gnarly.
Of course. So I can see these things under my skin,
Yep, for a few
But I'm
seconds, and then they just
and
disappear
then
into
they.
the fire. You need to cut them out, Redcom. We need to cut them out. You can't let them infest us.
What
You
do
can
you?
feel
What do
your
you
hand
I asked.
reach back, almost out of your control, and snatch this knife out of your sheath on your hip.
Do I have control of my other hand?
Yes.
Well, we're going Ash style. I'm going to grab the hand with the knife, and stomp it, and then ask Scully. So what do you do about these things?
Yeah, would I know any? I've got a healer as a common.
Okay. Yeah. Give me a how about an intelligence challenge roll? I'll give you 2 boons for that.
I have to beat 10, right?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. 14.
You can probably make maybe some different poultices out of these things. These things incubate in the gut. Seen people where they have used different poultices mixed with various acids and stuff that literally burns them out. Usually does a hell of a lot of damage to the host, but they don't die.
Like a tapeworm type thing.
Yep.
Where you sort of kill it and then flush it out, as it were. All right.
Yep.
Well, would I know that the materials for that are around?
Let's see.
I have a trapper as a wilderness thing. If that.
We're gonna say you need currywort, which you can find around here. You need the acid, which I don't know if you have any, but somebody found some earlier. And
Oh yeah, we do have some, don't we? In
You need-
the vial.
the blood of a willing halfling.
Damn. Well, I know how to make a poultice to fix it, but we need some acid and we need the blood of a willing halfling. I'm sure I can find some curry water around here.
Well, if we have the acid that we found earlier, which I don't do we?
Somebody
Or
would
who
have had
had
it.
that?
Yeah, you had 2 healing potions.
Okay.
Well,
Right.
now.
That's true. Right. Okay. So we have the acid. But what else do we need?
The blood of a willing halfling.
A halfling.
Right.
Does it have to be a healthy halfling, or can it be a diseased halfling?
Well,
Because there's plenty of those running
unless-
around.
unless you like to drink diseased halfling blood. So probably want healthy.
You kind of scrounge around in the weeds and stuff, get yourself a nice little satchel of currywort. That's no hard to find. Halflings are known for their rock guts and all the things that they can eat and survive just fine. So you need that stamina from these little things.
From a
Would I
willing
know-
thing.
Would I have seen any halflings nearby?
Give me a strength challenge roll. Recom. Actually, 2. Yours is the first one. Your second one is your friend's.
Oh. I got a 4 on the first one. Oh, I got a 1 on the second one. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
So you continue to. You can feel your left arm struggling back against your right as you hold it pinned down. We need to cut them out of you. Don't listen to this thing. I do not trust him.
I don't trust
Cut
you
them
either.
out.
Shut up.
It's just simple slice across the abdomen, perpendicular to your belly button. I know what I'm doing.
No, you don't. Shut up. Not you. He motions to Scully. Not you. Where can we find a halfling? A healthy halfling.
Yeah,
Would
I know? Would I have seen any on my?
On your travels, yeah, you probably stayed at a few halflings. They're nice people. They gave you home, food, and place to rest on your travels across the plains.
Always kind of rubbed me sort of thought there was something off.
Yeah, about half a day's travel back to the south area. There, you pass through a small village. Seemed healthy, friendly.
Half a day south. Friendly and healthy.
The wrong direction again. We're never going to get to the bone column.
Well, if you'd rather die.
Well, now that you mention it. All right. A half a day south. All right. Well, and we know I got a couple of days, so should we go ahead and rest here, or because if it's very late in the afternoon at all, well, not exactly here because there's 4 of them. I just you know this area. What are we doing?
Right, yeah. What kind of time is it, Morgan?
Early afternoon.
Yeah. So we'd probably get there and it'd be like nighttime-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's probably a good idea then, because they'll give us a place to stay.
Might be a little bit safer out here. If you kind of glance over, you can still see just kind of disappearing in the distance these 12 horse riders. John being dragged behind him in his chains.
Which direction are they going?
West.
Okay. Well,
I think we should head to the halfling village, but it's up to you.
I'll do what you think we should do. Again, this is your stomping ground, so.
Says we should kill him. Give me another strength. First one's yours. Second one is your friend's.
First one is a 12, and the second one is in 6.
All right. So you continue to hold your left hand down into the muck, maybe putting your knee on it. He struggles back a few times, but
I'm enjoying your impression of me, Morgan.
I'm making him a little more corrupt. I'll have to break out my English accent.
So I heard that. Right. So,
what does Scully think as he looks at Reckham here, fighting against his own hand, talking to himself? Doesn't seem like the most stable of men.
Yeah, I'm a little bit freaked out. Not really sure. Just sort of standing there watching.
You must cut them out, Reckham. Trust me on this. It won't hurt at all.
I suddenly just have an outburst where I say, "You don't know what you're talking about. This guy lives here. He knows what he's talking about. You shut up."
You see your hand just kind of go limp. You can wiggle your fingers for a moment and realize you seem to have control of this a little better. As you look at him, Scully, you'll notice that left eye, that pale colored eye that he has. It looks like he's probably blind out of it or something, but kind of flickers in your direction a little bit, almost, kind of goofy-eyed. One looking off in the distance, one staring back at you. His left jowl twitches a little.
Just sort of watching. Kind of narrow eyes.
Well, up to you guys what you want to do from here. Like I said, to the north, you got the forest, about a half a day's travel to where you're headed. You see John disappearing into the west. Halflings can save you and get a night's rest to the south. To the east is just open plains, if it matters.
For a moment, I consider just walking to the east, just walking until I just drop. These things burst out of me and I contribute to the demise of a planet. But instead I'll say, well, if you think there are halflings to the south, then let's go to the south.
Okay.
Wait, you said the blood of a willing halfling. Do we have to drain a halfling of his blood, or do we just have to get some of it? Because, you know, a halfling willing to be drained of his blood's probably not that healthy to begin with.
Yeah, I think it's just some of it. I mean, I can't imagine you having to drink a whole halfling's worth of blood. That's a lot of blood.
Okay, well,
You carry it around in jugs, chugging it all day.
Right. Mmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, you guys move from this little secluded area you have, start heading against south, leading the way, Scully. Maybe following the same path that you took to where you got here, in between some of these rocky outcroppings, a few little bushes here and there. It's a little less sparse where you're moving along. By the time evening rolls around, it still seems to have that drizzly, rainy gore coming down, that snowy ash drifting around you. It's starting to gather up on the ground, so it's a couple inches deep by the time you reach this little village. All around where this halfling village is completely cleaned. You don't see any of the stuff on the ground. None of the tents or anything are covered in the score, almost like they're in their own little bubble. As you guys move through where you're walking through, it's still covered in the scores. You pass through into this area, you can see your entire body get cleaned. Your armor is nice and clean looking. There's none of this gore on you left anymore. You're still banged up and beat up a little bit, but this unnatural stuff that's been coming down around you seems to be just wiped clean from your bodies. There's a lot of tents and stuff like that around. You can see some halflings milling about in the distance. A few of them kind of smile, give you a little bit of a nod and wave as you pass by. The main conclave would be in the center of town, where they always kind of gather.
I'll whisper. Just keep your hand on your blade. I've heard halflings can be a bit hit and miss, you know, with the insects.
You hear a little laughter in the back of your head, Reckham, and as your left hand slips over to your dagger again, holding it tight. We'll watch the halflings. We like halflings, Reckham. Remember that time I avalanched them all?
Different halflings. And I weren't these halflings.
Little bastards.
These halflings are good. They're not those halflings.
Oh, the halflings are miserable.
I'm just gonna take out a kind of poultice from my bag. It's sort of dark blue, and just draw like a rune on the wrist of Reckham, which is a rune of finding, so that I always know where he is for the next hour, just in case, you know, he goes insane and runs off or something. just
good point.
So I always know where you are. And
strangely, as you kind of drew this and you get that rune, you can see, I don't know, you almost feel like there's two of him standing there. That sense that it's
that overlaid with his location. Yeah. And I'll say, well, we'll probably speak to the leader first.
We'll speak to the leader, Reckham. Gut him like a pig.
Do you maybe want to stay outside?
Madness. Just mutters under his breath, madness. Okay, fine. I'll stay out here.
Okay, just to, you know, be sure that
so
nothing bad happens.
Redcom has a seat, and whichever hand it was that was acting up earlier, he makes sure to sit on it. Not sure it'll do much good, but it'll give him a second or two. You know, it's there, so his hand is under his ass.
As you sit down in a log, you can see some halflings in the distance, you know, setting up a nice little area to start cooking dinner with. You can smell some roasted meats and potatoes and stuff. It smells actually pretty tasty. A couple kids kind of gather around off in the distance, playing with some small straw dolls. Morrow, you can see the main hut, or the little lean-to tent that's been set up where you get the mayor of these halflings. And you chatted with him a few times the night before. His name was Mock.
Yeah, so I'll enter and say, hey, Matt, how's it going?
Golly. Wonderful day, wonderful day. Shitty weather we're having, no?
You could say that, yeah. Listen, I'm just going to cut to the chase. I need a favor. A friend of mine got contracted with an infection of those bug things. what are they called again?
Dread mothers. Yes.
That's the one. Dread Mothers.
So you need a bit of blood, eh?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, he's a good friend and a good person.
Well, you know the way to a halfling's heart, right?
Indeed. Do I have any food on me?
And he says, no, well, that is true, Scully. But I'm thinking a little bit more. It needs to be the blood of a willing halfling. I would certainly be willing to give a friend a little bit of old Mac blood here. 20 gold.
20 gold. That
He kind of looks
a
around,
lot of
looking at your friend out there. He says, wait. I'll do it for your friend's blade. He kind of motions towards Reckham's very nicely crafted black steel blade. Don't forget, it must be a willing halfling.
It must. I'll go out and just say, yeah, he says he'll do it for your sword.
Stay sucks. Will he take gold or something else?
Well, if you have 20 gold on you, then yes.
You got 20 silver.
Yeah,
So I don't have 20 gold. All right. Yeah, here. So, yeah. I don't want to item. Yeah. The captain gave me this sword. He just starts muttering this stream of consciousness stuff under his breath.
I'll just pull him in close for like a hug and just say, you know what we do to halflings, and then just like
you hear the soft little, you hear that soft little giggle in the back of your head, Rickham. Says we got them like a pig. You can feel as you kind of Scully gives you this hug and kind of stand up a little bit. Your left hand kind of snatch out. You hear the scream of one of these little halfling kids that you've grabbed by the neck and lifted up. Your left hand.
I'll pry off his hand and I'll shout at the girl and say, leave my friend alone, don't grab him like that, and sort of send her on her way.
She hurries across the courtyard, kind of this strike of fear in her distance, rubbing her neck. Reckham grabbed a hold of her. The other kids all just kind of like completely clear out away from you.
Can you please control yourself?
I'll try. So I sit on my hand again, unbuckle my sword belt with the other hand, and just hand it to Scully's here.
Right.
Sit on my hands more.
Yeah, I could tie your hands if you want. That might be quite a good idea.
I don't know if it's both of them or I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Not crazy. Not crazy.
I'll take.
Not crazy.
Okay. I'll take the blade inside.
See Mac take a hold of this thing. It's easily just as tall as he is. It's not something he could really even use, but he kind of admires it for a few and walks over. Sets it on the wall where he has a couple little things set up to, kind of hold his treasures. He has what looks to be a bit of a old crown hanging there. You can see a turkey leg still resting against the wall. It looks quite savory. He says, I suppose you need a bit of the blood now. He says, I'll bring it along quite shortly. Give me a few moments.
No, I want it now, Mac.
Says, what, you don't trust a halfling? We're all fine folk here. Kind of pulls out this drawer at one of his tables and sets this little pack on there, takes out what looks to be a small bowl, and then this little syringe-like thing in this tube. Kind of glares at you for a few, wraps a piece of leather around his elbow. You can see he plunges this thing in just to the tips of his fingers, and then kind of folds it over top of the bowl, letting the blood drip in a few times. Says, you don't need much. Gathers up a little pile of blood in this bowl and just pushes it forward towards you. Bit of a grunt. And you kind of grab some bandages.
You know what happens if this isn't enough, right? And then
Says there's plenty. Don't be
Um,
so prestigious, Scully. We're all
just
friends
ignore
here.
me. Yeah.
Thank you for the
So,
sword, mate.
I'll stop mixing it. I'm assuming Reckham has the acid.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll stop mixing them with it. Make this sort of poultice, mortar and pestle it.
See bubbles and spits, hisses as he hands you this bowl of concoction, Requiem. The bowl itself starts to kind of curdle and blacken a little bit from this acid. The curry wort just kind of melting away in there. The blood of this halfling causing it to turn into this sickly purplish sort of color, like a bruise.
Oh. I'm supposed to drink this?
Just
All right. Down the hatch.
All right. Give me a strength challenge roll. 2 Banes.
Aye, out of the dice tray. 2 Banes, you say. So a 9?
9.
Oh.
All right. So this is how much damage is going to be done to your temporary damage first. So you're going to drop your temporary by whatever this is. I rolled really bad. 3, 5, 6, 7 points of damage to your temporary.
Okay.
And then just another 1 point of regular damage.
Okay.
You could feel this stuff just go down your throat, your mouth burns. You can feel it pouring down your esophagus and into your gut. Whole thing kind of rumbles for a few. Obviously, you're not feeling too good. You can just feel like constant burning in your stomach. This is going to hurt like hell when you got to shit.
Oh, damn.
This ain't no Mexican food. This is.
How do you feel?
Not well. Not better, but not good.
Good, then it's probably working.
You're going to be
No,
sickened also, Rickham, so everything you do has a bane at the moment until you get a rest.
how about we stay the night here and then head out in the morning?
I'm okay with that.
Yes,
But I
yes,
no longer
need
have
my
a
rest,
blaster
Rickham.
blade.
We need our rest.
Ugh.
I'm not quite feeling myself.
Neither am I.
Neither are you. What?
No, sorry, not. I think I'm going insane. It's okay. Don't. It's
Yeah,
way
no.
past time.
We're not insane.
We maybe aren't, but I am.
Oh, no.
And he shakes his head. Sorry, Scully. Sorry.
It's all right. Yeah. So I'll go back in and say thank you for that, Mac. No, we have a place to stay for tonight.
Most certainly. Us halflings are gratuitous folks.
You are indeed.
So you can stay where you stayed last night, down by the horses.
Thank you.
Just kind of gives you a nod and goes back to looking at this papers that he has across, kind of scrawled across his desk, jotting stuff down.
Yeah. So I'll just go kind of wrap myself in my cloak and bed down, I think.
All right, if you guys are resting, are you setting up a watch or anything? Or, I mean, you wouldn't have to normally.
Yeah, I don't think I would, but
I
would 100% be tying up Reckham.
Redcom is.
Leaving him away.
He's surprisingly okay with that. He's like, just cut me loose if something tries to eat us.
Yeah, don't worry. When the halflings attack.
There's always that chance
Right.
that they might, you know.
I hope they do.
Scully, give me a perception challenge roll, but with 3 banes.
I am a boatman.
Yeah, but you're not on the boat.
Iceberg, right ahead.
Yeah, the only thing I have is spy, which maybe. I don't think that.
Not in this case, no.
Oh, joy. That is a 4.
All right. So yeah, you kind of tie Reckham up, bind him up the best you can anyway, and head to sleep for the night. Both of you go ahead and heal your healing rate.
Sweet.
If you need it. I'm sure Reckham does. Reckham, you're going to gain back 1d3 of your temporary. And yeah, the night pretty much goes without any sort of issue. Reckham, you're the first to awaken. You remember, Scully binding you up the night before. You kind of have yourself wrapped up in these blankets and stuff. You easily kind of sit up, you rub your face, get the sleep out of your eyes, and stretch a little bit. As you look down, you can see your entire chest and your legs are just covered in blood. Your hands, these binds that he tied you up with, are just kind of broken into pieces on the ground in front of you. You look over at Scully as you wake up, Scully. You turn over and look at Reckham, just covered in gore. The binds that you tied him up snapped apart around his feet.
Oh, shit.
This dead silence outside and in your tent.
I'll have a look outside.
Let's see what you got. As soon as you open up that tent, you can just hear this mass swarm of flies buzz away. There's a total of 14 dead halflings just scattered around the front of your tent. Dead silence outside.
I'll close the door again and say, so you were busy.
I don't know what happened. I remember you tying me up.
I know what happened.
And here I am. I don't doubt you do.
We are. It was a grand time, Retcom. Should have been there. I got to the mall.
I'll step outside and just look around at the brutality, and then eventually go and try and find the black steel blade.
Go find the what?
The black steel blade.
Oh.
my old sword. Mac did have it.
Yeah, step over these bodies, kind of move through. You pass by a couple more halflings here and there. Most of the doors to their little tents you can see covered in gore. Get to Mac's place. He is sitting at his desk, head slumped down. Just this pool of blood spilling across this desk. The black steel blade glimmering on his wall.
Well,
hey, that's my sword.
Well, why don't we take one of these tents?
Hey, that's a good idea if that'll work. If it's something that we can pack easily enough.
Yeah,
right.
They're pretty. I mean, they travel all across the plains and stuff, packing them up, so they roll up pretty tight and quite the craftsmanship of twigs that kind of just looks like a little bundle of twig. You throw it on the ground, it's like poof, and you have like a mansion tent,
Ah.
I'll pile up all the halflings and stop burning them.
Looks to be, I mean, that there was it wasn't a huge village, decent size, maybe like 20, 25 halflings. And totally find 19 of them that have all been butchered. Every one of them seems to be missing their heart. A nice little carved out chest area. Most of them disemboweled and whatnot. Some of them look like they've been chewed on, consumed a little bit. If you kind of off to the side, you will notice you have a few fingernails caught in your teeth, Reckham.
Yeah, I'll turn to Reckham and say, so, you breakfast, or have you already eaten?
I'm not very hungry, but I should
Quite
be.
full.
But I'm not very hungry.
Maybe don't dwell on that one too much.
I wasn't crazy about halflings, but I didn't want to eat them.
Yeah.
I don't think. Wait.
This is just reminding me of that fucking Star Trek original series episode where Jack the Ripper's soul infects the crew.
I don't think I've seen that one. I might have to look it up. You don't hear anything in your head either, Reckham. It's just dead silence.
Finally. I'll take it. Okay, well let's do what we got to do. And while I have my faculties back, let's get moving. Let's get moving.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think we'll call it there for this session. That way Mike isn't too much missing. And then you guys can head on out to where you're headed with the next one. We can actually pick it up right there.
That
Because they took him off to the west,
strange
yeah.
for this campaign, but that took a dark turn.
It's,
Which,
right. Yeah, it did. It was a little darker than usual for the. It's like it's the new Pigment of Black